Today, we're diving deep into a fascinating biological mystery. We're going to talk about an animal that holds a secret that could, one day, completely change human medicine. We're talking about the whale that seems to defy cancer. So, meet our main character, the bowhead whale. This incredible creature lives in the freezing waters of the Arctic, and as you're about to see, it's one of the most resilient animals on the entire planet. Get this, these giants can live for over 2 centuries. Yeah, you heard that right, more than 200 years. That makes them the longest living mammal that we know of. They can literally live through generations of human families. And that incredible lifespan creates a huge puzzle. I mean, think about it. An animal this enormous, with trillions upon trillions of cells, living for that long, it should be a walking cancer factory. Every single time a cell divides, there's a chance for a mutation, a mistake that could lead to a tumor. And yet, bowhead whales almost never get cancer. So how is that even possible? You know, this riddle is so famous, it actually has a name. It's called Peto's paradox. It's the simple but really mind-bending observation that bigger animals that live longer don't get more cancer. A whale should have a way higher cancer rate than a mouse, but it doesn't. And for decades, scientists have been trying to figure out why. All right, so if you're a scientist, where do you even begin to look for a superpower like this? Well, you start by investigating the usual suspects, the kinds of cancer-fighting tricks we've already seen in other animals. So the first logical places to look were pretty straightforward. Maybe they just have a ton of extra copies of genes that are known to stop tumors. Elephants do that, so it's a good guess. Or maybe their cells have a super sensitive self-destruct button. You know, the second a cell gets even slightly damaged, boom, it's ordered to destroy itself to protect the whole animal. But, and this is a huge but, when researchers actually tested the bowhead whale cells, they found the complete opposite of what they expected. Their tumor-suppressing pathways were actually less active than ours, and that cellular self-destruct program was no more active than in humans either. The whale wasn't playing by the rules we thought it would, and that just made the mystery even deeper. And this is the point in the story where the investigation took a really shocking and, honestly, a kind of confusing turn. Okay, quick science lesson. For a normal, healthy cell to turn into a cancer cell, it usually needs a few things to go wrong, a series of genetic mistakes or hits that break all its safety controls. For human cells in a lab, it takes around 5 of these big hits to turn them cancerous. So you'd think a super cancer-resistant whale would need way more, right? Well, the result was stunning. Researchers discovered it actually took fewer genetic hits to turn the whale cells cancerous compared to the human cells. In the safety of a lab dish, their cells actually seemed more fragile, not stronger. It made no sense. I mean, listen to this line, pulled straight from the research paper. Unexpectedly. That one word says it all. This was a total curveball that threw everything scientists thought they knew right out the window. So this leads us to the absolute core of the mystery. If the whale's individual cells are actually easier to push towards cancer in a lab, how in the world does the whole animal stay almost completely cancer-free for 200 years? The secret couldn't be about preventing the damage in the first place. It had to be something else entirely. This is when it finally clicked. Maybe the whale's secret isn't having a stronger fortress. Maybe the secret is having the most elite, most efficient, and most accurate repair crew in the entire animal kingdom. The whale's real superpower isn't stopping the damage, it's fixing it, absolutely flawlessly. And this chart just says it all. When scientists measured how well different cells could fix the most dangerous kind of DNA damage you can get, what's called a double-strand break, the results were just incredible. Bowhead whale cells fix these breaks way more often and way more accurately than human or mouse cells. They are just on another level. Now, what's really cool is that the whale isn't using some new magical system. It's using the same basic DNA repair tools that we have, but its versions of these tools are just souped up. They're way more efficient, they're more precise, and most importantly, they leave behind way fewer mistakes when the job is done. So what's powering this incredible repair shop? Well, scientists hunted it down and they found the hero of the story, a single protein called CIRBP. And you really don't need a PhD to see the evidence for yourself here. This is a protein analysis. The dark bands in the middle lane, that's the bowhead whale. And as you can see, their cells are just absolutely packed with this CIRB protein. Way more than any other mammal they tested. Okay, this is more than just a cool fact about whales. Figuring out the whale's strategy of repair, don't replace could actually have huge implications for our own health and how we think about aging. So think of the whale's strategy like this. When a break happens in the DNA, CIRP molecules flood the scene. They act like a team of first responders, stabilizing the broken ends and creating the perfect environment for the other repair tools to come in and do a flawless job. Now, compare that to what can happen in our cells. Without that overwhelming amount of CIRBP, our repair process can sometimes be a bit messy. Bits of information can get lost, mistakes get made, and that leads to what scientists call genomic instability. And that is the engine that drives both aging and cancer. So the whole mechanism is just beautiful in its simplicity. CIRB rushes to the DNA damage, it shields the broken ends so they don't fall apart, and then it acts like a magnet, pulling in all the other repair proteins to make sure the job gets done right the first time. But here it is. This is the part that is an absolute game changer. The researchers took the gene for the whale's superpowered CIRBP and they put it into human cells in the lab. And the result? The human cells suddenly got better at fixing their own DNA. Their genomes became more stable. The whale's superpower is transferable. And that brings us to this incredible idea from the research team. Imagine developing therapies based on the whale's strategy. Imagine treating the very root cause of so many diseases, our own unstable DNA, not as something we just have to accept, but as something we can actually fix. So we're left with this really fascinating thought. The bowhead whale, over millions of years of evolution, has proven that it's possible to dramatically boost our natural DNA repair systems. The question for us now is, can we finally learn from this ancient giant and apply its secrets to ourselves?